Hi, good afternoon, everyone. I hope that everyone is being safe and using all the precautions. First of all, thank you so much for taking time out of your day to come and listen to what I have to say, little old me. We're really excited about the fact that you guys are interested in the Dr. Karan C. Patel College of Osteopathic Medicine today for your future. And I'm just basically here to just give a quick review of information, what it is that you would need to know or do to be successful in completing your application. All right, so we can go to the next slide. So most of you already know what osteopathic is or have an idea of what it is. But basically we're just doctors that are trained to consider the health of the whole person, to help diagnose and treat patients accordingly. Committed leaders, compassionate healers, and who listen to their patients effectively, carefully, and not just the patient, but the community in general, okay? We try to remain instead on the cutting edge of research so we can know what to do to properly assess our patients accurately and stay away from taking, medications. So the holistic approach. In the next slide. Some of the requirements that are needed, basically, you definitely would, to be more competitive, we do encourage you to try and have your bachelor's degree. But you can just use a minimum of 90 semester hours from a regionally accredited institution. At this time, a lot of questions that we're receiving is that, what if I have to take an online course? That is fine, as long as it's from a regionally accredited college or university, it is accepted. You want to make sure that your cumulative GPA, meaning all classes that you're taking, have taken, even the ones that you've repeated, when you submit your application with AACOMAS, you want it to be over 3.0 or higher. And that will also be for your science GPA. So those are two very important. All your science courses, you want to make sure it's over 3.0, and then your cumulative GPA. Just so that you are aware, we have a competitive for this incoming class. It is a 3.5 GPA. So keep that in mind right now.
I think we got one question.
What would be the ideal GPA to be accepted? Like I said, this incoming class, their cumulative GPA is about 3.498. So that's why we're saying 3.5 in general. So, but I don't know about you guys, but when I was graduating, 4.0 was considered great, and it still is. But right now we have so many students that are graduating with 4.5 or 5.0 because they're taking all these additional courses and stuff like that. So it is increasing. It's a lot more competitive. So just try to be on top of your game, so to speak. All right. So you also would need to take the MCAT. Some of you may have already done this or in the process of studying for your MCAT. I know right now MCATs are on hold. You would have to check with them and verify information with the testing company in regards to the MCATs when it'll be available again. I haven't been given updated information so far. And for the classes, the incoming class, we have an average right now of a 504 overall MCAT, okay? Somebody has that the 3.5 for both cumulative and science. That is correct for for the incoming class. Okay. Letters of recommendation are very important because it expresses who you are. So therefore, Don't be shy in getting to know your professors. Don't wait until you're about to fill out your applications to start engaging with your professors. So that's, that's very important. For this program, you will need 3 letters of evaluation, 2 from your science professors, 1 from a non-science professor. A non-science professor would be your English, math, liberal arts, humanities, things of that nature, if you have built a rapport with someone. And some people have, on occasion, provided a letter of recommendation from someone who they've volunteered with. Now, these letters of recommendation that you see here, in addition to the letter of recommendation from a physician, it can be a DO or MD, it doesn't have to be just these 4. You can also provide additional letters of recommendation. So this is the minimum requirements for letters of recommendation, so that you meet the criteria for your application to be considered complete. All right. We do encourage you to do volunteer work and have medical experience, healthcare medical experience. The volunteer work does not have to be in the medical field, but being sure to have some type of medical experience, like shadowing the physicians, is greatly needed, would be very helpful in making your application more competitive. Would it be acceptable to substitute the non-science letters with a 3rd science? You can give, in addition to a third science professor, but you will definitely need a non-science letter of recommendation. Okay. Again, you need to meet the minimum requirements. Any additional letters of recommendation is gravy on your application. All right. Any additional questions for these sets of admission requirements before I proceed? Oh, I just saw another question. What is the latest MCAT date accepted for this coming cycle? We encourage candidates to submit their MCATs. Try to do it by the end of the year, because anything that you submit in January, can be considered late. It takes some time for processing and everything like that. It takes about 4 to 6 weeks for your scores to even be submitted. And we need those scores in order for your application to be considered complete. So I would encourage you to complete it by the end of the year. So let's say December. I'm not sure what the dates are for the MCATs. Like I said, there have been some cancellations and stuff. So be mindful of that. All right. Okay, so the admissions procedure is that you will complete your AACOMAS application, provide them with all your official transcripts from all institutions that you've attended. Even though you took classes at one place, you want to make sure that you provide the transcripts from everywhere else, because one institution may have that you attended. Let's just say you attended Broward College, and then you're attending NSU. NSU may have the information for the classes taken at Broward College, but you still would need to provide the transcript from Broward College as well. Would the College of Psychology professors, neuroscience, count as a non-science professor? So psychology is more like a humanities, so yes, it can be considered as a non-science. Okay. In addition to what you would need to submit to AACOMAS, other than your official transcripts, you would have to provide them with your MCAT scores. You would submit your letters of recommendation, and that is what you would do is put in the email address of the recommenders, and they will submit it that way. And that is considered an official letter of recommendation. The letters of recommendation cannot come from you directly. It has to be submitted by the recommender themselves. If they're unable to do it through AACOMAS, they can send it to the school. Some recommenders can be old-fashioned, so to speak, and want to write an actual letter, and that can be submitted to the school. And that information is on our website for the address to submit it into. Your personal statement, tell us about yourself. What are you up to? What made you passionate about becoming an osteopathic doctor? You know, we are going to see all your academic information, your personal statement. We want to know about you, get to know about who you are as a person, and then provide us with your experiences. So your experiences is the volunteer work, your medical work, any jobs that you may have. If you were working while you're in college, please be to have that information. Be accurate with your dates with that as well. Let's see. Where can we get access? You will speak with Emilio in regards to getting access to the recording. I do believe he will send that out later on. Will we be offering interviews without MCAT scores? At this time, that has not been decided for NSU KP-Com. They are definitely will be taking that into consideration as the situation with the pandemic continues and deciding what they will do. But MCATs are definitely very important part of your application process. So do not take it lightly. Stay in contact with the testing company for MCAT to make sure that you know definitely when the next MCAT test is going to be. Please use this time to study, so that you can be prepared for when the test, they do provide a new testing date. All right, and then after you complete your AACOMAS application, they review it, verify it, they let you know that it's verified. We at NSU, we have our processing department, enrollment processing. They will be notified and review your AACOMAS application and then send you an email to complete the NSU, which is a secondary application. So there are 2 applications that need to be completed in order for you to have a complete application for NSU and be considered ready for review by the admissions committee. All right, let's see. Just wondering, are there any accommodations being made as a result of COVID and pushing back? Like I previously said, at this time, no. We're still paying attention to what the testing sites are doing. You definitely want to make sure that you yourself are staying aware of when the next testing date will be. Because again, the MCAT is very, very important part of your application process. You're more than welcome. All right, so let's go to the next slide. All right, so these are all the prerequisites that are needed that we're looking for. And you want to make sure that you get a C or higher, no C minuses. If you have a C minus, you will need to take the class again. So you need 8 semesters of biology, general chemistry, organic chemistry, physics, 3 semesters of English, so English comp or composition 1 or 2, and then a humanities course. Again, like I said previously, the humanities can be psychology, sociology, a regular humanities course, music appreciation, art, things of that nature. But a lot of people do already take the psychology or humanities or something of that nature, which is a little bit more demanding, or it's a heavier course load, because music appreciation, you know, most people get an A in that class. So yeah. And then you want to have the 3 semesters of biochemistry. And a lot of these are already part of what you would need to receive your bachelor's degree. So you would, meet that requirement, the English and the humanities. Now, it's biological sciences and general chemistry, organic chemistry. That's basically bio 1 and 2, general chemistry 1 and 2, organic chemistry 1 and 2, physics 1 and 2. All right. Would we accept transfer credits? Yes, we do. So let's just say if you did advanced placement, once it shows on your official transcript, then, and it shows that it's been accepted, then we'll accept it as well. All right. Any additional questions in regards to the prerequisites for the classes? Okay, great. So we can go to the next slide. Yes, psychology does fall into the humanities category, Raina. I hope I said that correctly. Awesome. So many of you may or may not know what AACOMAS is. It's the American Association of College of Osteopathic Medicine Application Service. That's where you would apply for all the schools that you're applying for osteopathic medicine. So whether it's NSU or anywhere else, it's just that one application. You put all the schools that you're interested in, and then you send it off. That way you don't have to go to each school and complete an application. It is $195 for the initial primary application, $45 for the application after the first one. So if you applied this year, then you didn't finish, and then you want to apply next year, I think it's $45. And they have a customer service number. You can always contact them directly, and they can clarify any information, or if you have any problems with completing your application, you can speak with them accordingly on what to do. So I'm going to go back to the comment section here. So 3 semesters of biochemistry, like organic 1 and 2, and biochemistry. So organic chemistry 1 and 2 is the 8 semester credits that you would need for that requirement, and biochemistry is separate, so just 3 for that. You do not need to do a lab. When we say 8 semester credit hours, that includes a lab. Some schools, it says that they may have 2 semesters of a lab. So you end up with like 3 semesters for the class itself, 2 semesters for a lab, and so then in all, you'll have 10 credits. So of course you've met the requirement, but make sure that the courses that you're taking includes a lab, because the lab is required for the biology, for the chemistry, organic chemistry, for the physics. You have to complete the labs. I'm sorry I didn't mention that before, so thank you for triggering that memory. But since organic is a prerequisite, you would have to take those as well. Yes. A lot of times, the succession of the requirements that we have listed, you need to take a previous class for it. So you would initially meet those requirements regardless, especially based on your bachelor's degree that you're taking. So for those of you that are doing your bachelor's is in chemistry, you would have taken all the courses needed. All right. Okay, so we can go to the next slide, Emilio. Okay, these are very important. These are, oh, they use the old dates, but normally it's successive. So all the applications are so for fall of 2021, we're going to open in May of 2020. And you can go onto the AACOMAS website, and then you will see the dates of when they're open and when it's closed. All right. So just pay attention to the deadlines. Do not, I repeat, do not wait till the last minute to complete your AACOMAS application or your NSU application. Because remember, it takes time for your application to be verified. AACOMAS has once they receive your transcripts and everything, they go in and they verify all that information to make sure that the classes are legit and that the credits are good. And then they have to calculate all of the courses to compute your overall GPA. Their GPA is what we use. It is not what we use. All right. So you can't say that you took organic chemistry 2 times and because you failed one and the school removed the failing class so you did well. AACOMAS is going to include all the courses, whether you pass them or not, into their calculation. So take that into consideration, that you may have graduated with a 4.0 because they didn't include a failing class. AACOMAS is going to include that failing course, and it might bring that down your overall GPA. So you may not have a 4.0 GPA when we receive it from AACOMAS. All right. So pay attention to the dates. So we are going to be opening up the application season in AACOMAS in May, and then it will the deadline for AACOMAS will always be in January, the second week of January or the beginning of that third week, depending on the date it falls on. All right, and then the NSU application will open in June and then close in March. All right. We do receive approximately about 10,000 applications through AACOMAS. Only about 8,000 applications in general are considered complete through NSU, and NSU KP-Com only, we only interview about 10% of those applications. So interviewing about 1,000 applicants per admission cycle. So yes, it is a very competitive program, okay? Let me take a look. What is the acceptance rates? Again, so with about the 1,000 that we interview for a class of 410, we usually, so we do like twice as much. We usually have a very good amount of people who accepted our offers because we have such great candidates. Again, it's a very competitive program. The rates itself, I don't know off the top of my head. I am so sorry. I didn't think about looking at that. But there's also attrition where people cancel, so we do take people from the waiting list. All right. For those of us that are waiting for the MCAT to open back up, would you recommend we apply as soon as it opens in May? Or you can start your application, okay? Start completing the application so that when they do tell you that you can take the MCAT, you can complete it. And that way you have time to go through everything and make sure everything is accurate, like your dates, your work history, the dates that you completed for volunteering. All that information will be in the system and accurate. Because sometimes those are the things that hold up your application when AACOMAS is verifying. Can you submit an application without the MCAT? I do not believe you can. It would not be considered completed. Okay? And then add it when you get it. Right, I've known some people who start the application in May, but don't submit it till December. So it's okay. I don't want you to panic and say, hey, it opens in May, so I have to complete it before June when the NSU application opens. No. Like I said, take your time, do what it is that you need to do. If you don't have your MCAT scores as yet, or if you have a previous MCAT score and you don't feel like you did well and you want to take the MCAT again, you can wait, okay, to submit that. Sam, so how many people would be accepted for that year? So this year we've interviewed a little over 1,000 individuals, and right now our class is full. We have people who are on the waiting list just in case. So it's over 100%, I guess. Does that answer your question, Sam? Okay, anyone else has any questions in regards to the when the application opens and when the deadlines are? Okay, great. We can go to the next slide. All right, very important. A lot of people, you know, they say, okay, I'll do my interviews, but they're not prepared. I don't want you to go and rehearse what you think the questions that are going to be asked, and you just say exactly those things, because you just never know what they are going to ask you. We just want you to be prepared. Arriving on time is essential. If you knowing where you have to go before any interview, so that the day of, that you're not caught off guard, taking into consideration of traffic and parking, also dressing very professionally. Keep in mind that there are resources at NSU to help you with that as well. Right, Emilio?
Absolutely. Our career development office can help you develop strategies, whether it's for one-on-one, virtual interviews, panel interviews, also MMI interviews, which could come up, but our advisors can work one-on-one with you, not just how to sell yourself, but answering some of the more difficult questions or helping you dig deeper to make sure you're giving a more thorough answer and prepare accordingly.
Correct. So no one-word answers that won't help you through the interview. Here at NSU, you know, we're more of a family. So it's not going to be a good cop, bad cop situation. We're not interrogating you or anything like that. We're just trying to get to know you and see if you would be a good fit. It is normally a 2 faculties to 1 candidate interview style. It's not MMA where there'll be a line of people asking you questions, not like that. So no, and I'm pretty sure you guys will be prepared, but a lot of times it's we see that it's how someone is dressed is not professional. So ladies, make sure that your skirts are not too short or too tight. Gentlemen, your suits are not too big on you. You know, your ties. If you don't know how to do a tie, you know, get someone to help you. I mean, I've tied ties for gentlemen when they come there. You know, I've assisted ladies with their suits or hair, or whatever the case may be. Like I said, it's more of a family atmosphere. Would you take some credits earned in Canada? If it's an English-speaking course, NSU should accept it. What is the % of NSU undergrad students get accepted rather than someone from another university? There is no differential between from another school or here at NSU. I'm not sure if any of you are part of the dual admissions program. They are provided with, included in our calculations for the incoming class, and that's if they meet their contract requirements. Those of you that are not, we look at all individuals the same, whether they're in-state or out-of-state. It's just how well they meet the criteria that the committee is looking for, and which I've discussed earlier. Okay. But NSU, you know, you know the school and stuff like that. So, hey, the early bird catches the worm is what I say. You already have an advantage. We do accept international students as well, Courtney. All right. I'm ready for the next slide if anyone, unless anyone has any questions about interviewing tips. All right, so as you know, NSU is a 4-year program. Currently, we only have 410 seats. It used to be 250, but now that since we have the Tampa Bay campus, it has increased to 410. So a little bit more wiggle room, but again, still very, very competitive. We have the clinical rotation sites throughout the state, as well as other states. I think Mississippi and Hamptons in New York, and one other place. And Dean Wallace is always making arrangements for more things to become available, making connections so that all our students have a great opportunity to be the best that they can be for their rotations. Board preparation support, we have the COMLEX. Basically, that is where it is we provide you study sessions to prepare for taking the tests prior to your rotation, because it depends on how well you do that for your rotations. So I do believe that the COMLEX is, you have to make a 450. So if the test requirement is 450, here at NSU, they have like a mock exam, and so you would have to get a 500. I'm just paraphrasing, or they always make it higher so that when you do take the test, if you're not feeling well that day or something happened, if you can pass the NSU mock testing, then you do good on the COMLEX. All right. Tuition right now is for, as you can see, for Florida residents, it's about $55,000, and then for out of state, it's $62,000. So it all depends. And that may increase, I'm not sure. Hopefully Dr. Hanbury doesn't require that this year. But that's for financial aid, and financial aid can answer those questions for you in regards to tuition. All right. Any questions in regards to that? Oh, is the tuition for international students the same as out of state? Yes, it is. And then you can, you definitely speak with the International Student Affairs. They will be able to assist you with making sure that everything is set for you as being a fully admitted student here for NSU. You're welcome. Scholarship opportunities are for the university as a whole. And then also AACOMAS has some options as well, so you can check there. I think, I don't know if any of you know about like FastWeb. That's a great resource for scholarships. Okay. And this is just the contact information for all of us that is here. In the admissions team, the admission counselor, myself, then there's Joseph Sleba, and Eric DeRise, he's for the counselor for the Tampa Bay campus. If you are interested in seeing the campus there, you can reach out to him directly and he can make arrangements. Of course, this is post-COVID. Right now, we're not doing any tours. And then Melissa Chamberlain, she's the program director. She's very sweet and always willing to assist and answer any questions. And that is our general contact number for the admissions office, should you have any additional questions. But it is best to just shoot an email. We can respond that way, because a lot of us are teleworking. And even when everything opens back up, we're either doing interviews or meetings. So it's best to email. That way you can get a response. I hope I have been able to clarify some things for you, and most of your questions have been answered. If there are any additional questions, feel free to either put it in the chat or you can raise your hand, and Emilia would allow you the opportunity to speak. Maripaya, I hope I said that wrong. Please forgive me if I didn't. How would you say clinical hours or experience hours is in the application? Also, I've done some research And most people say that consistency is important for you guys to see. So can you provide additional context to this subject? Okay, so yes, consistency is good. We want to know, so if you're doing research, show who you're doing the research with, how that has impacted you, the dates of you doing the research, start and end dates are very important because that will be considered part of your medical experience. And yes, the committee, I do apologize. I will take that call later. The committee of admissions does look at the experience, because if you say you want to be a doctor, but you're not really doing anything to become a doctor, how are you really interested in becoming a doctor? That's like Serena Williams saying, I want to be the best, the greatest player for tennis of all time, and she doesn't practice. It's not possible, you know? So take that into consideration. And this is Christopher. Can I prefer to speak versus type it out? Sure, Christopher, go ahead.
Yeah, go on, mute yourself, Christopher, and ask the question. It's okay that you have other people listen.
I'm sorry, say that again.
Hi, that was Emilio. Hi, I'm Chris, guys. Pleasure to meet you. Hope you all are doing well and you all are staying safe. I have me and my girlfriend here. That's why I was asking. My question is, I guess a little more lengthy. I actually was accepted into or not specifically your college, but I was accepted at the master's program of the biological sciences with the health concentration study.
You sound so far away. I don't know if it's on my end.
I am right on top of my computer, basically. I don't know. Can you hear me better now?
Jamila, I'm hearing you.
A little bit.
Hold on.
Okay, so you were accepted?
I was accepted into the Masters of Biological Sciences program through the Oceanographic Institute with a concentrate.
Here at NSU?
Yes, at NSU.
Okay.
Can you hear me better now?
No. Emilio, I think because when that call came in, it kind of
took you off. Yeah, because I'm hearing you.
Yes. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to leave and come right back in.
Perfect.
Okay.
All right. One moment, please. I do apologize.
Oh, it's totally fine.
No problem. Christopher, hold on tight. She'll come right back in. And guys, for everyone else on the call, just as a heads up, everything we've gone over today, all the questions on the chat box, everything that Jamila went through, the presentation itself, it's all going to be posted on our YouTube page, NSU Career, and we're going to email it out to all pre-health students. This morning, you also should have gotten our pre-health newsletter, which also has some helpful links for these type of things. But once Jamila comes in, Christopher, she'll take your question and anyone.
Thank you.
Okay.
Hi, Mr. Mila. Can you hear me better now?
Much better. Thank you.
Excellent, excellent. So yes, I was already accepted into the Masters of Biological Sciences Health Concentration Program for NSU, I guess through their Oceanographic Institute. I was wondering when would be the best time for me as an applicant to apply, because my end goal is medical school. I know we are tentatively supposed to start June 23rd or June 22nd, basically this Monday coming up in June.
Okay.
I don't know how, because I believe you guys have now gone all, I guess, online and virtual for the summer, but I guess for the master's program, they are either making accommodations or we will also be virtual.
Okay.
But long story short, I wanted to know when I should apply with, I guess, my master's grade point average and results and stuff like that, because I would only tentatively, I guess, have a summer semester completed and part of, if not all of, a fall semester completed. Not the entire master's. I wouldn't have finished it yet.
So I would say later on so by December.
Okay.
You should definitely have your summer transcript completed. And then for the fall, you would most likely have that completed. It should be on there by December.
Okay, so you're saying by late December I should apply as well as have the MCAT score.
Right before the winter break, you should have that information.
Okay, so then basically apply before December.
Correct.
Okay.
And hopefully the MCAT would be, they'll have some tests by then, and then your scores would be available to submit your application.
Gotcha. Okay, I'm going to pass over the headset over to my girlfriend now, and I'll let her ask her questions. She's also a pre-health major, and she's also looking into medical school. So I'm
Sure,
going
not a
to
problem.
pass her over. Thank you so much, Mr. Amelia and Mr. Emilio. I appreciate it.
You're
Okay.
welcome.
Hello.
Hi, how are you?
Good, and you?
Pretty good.
Okay, so okay, my main issue is the MCAT, and that's kind of my only like concern because
Okay.
I mean, with all the changes in the MCAT dates, like it's been, you know, a lot of anxiety in terms of what's going to happen with this application cycle. But my concern is if I'm retaking the MCAT, so I do have an MCAT score. It's not good, but
Okay.
I do have an MCAT, and I have to retake it no matter what. So would I be able to submit my application and you guys still accept my new MCAT score?
I would wait until you retake the MCAT.
Okay.
If
And
you're not confident in your MCAT score that you
Yeah,
have
no.
currently, it is best to wait after you have retaken it and you see what your scores are to see whether or not you want to submit your application.
Okay. And would it matter, like, let's say I have a significant improvement, would it matter my past MCAT score, or would you kind of look at my progress in
They
terms of?
definitely will take see the progress, and that is actually good. So some people, they don't do well the first time because of their anxiety, and
Right.
they can freak out. And then when they retake it again and they do well, they see the improvement, that is definitely considered. You most likely will be asked that question. They'll ask you what happened, where did you change your studying techniques or anything of that nature, you know,
Okay.
to see what caused a drastic change.
Okay. And I mean, I looked at the AACOMAS like
Website?
letter, yeah, the website, and the letter that the president the president
What they gave,
wrote. Yeah, and they said that that they're gonna take a holistic approach and offer. Well, I guess most schools are gonna offer the interview for the applicants without an MCAT score, and then they'll just wait for the MCAT score to.
At this time, they have not made that decision here for NSU KPCOM or Dr. Hanbury for the NSU as a whole.
Okay.
We're still looking for those test scores because it's a very important
Right.
part of the application process. So right now, we're still hoping that everything with COVID, with the pandemic, yes, exactly. Declines.
Hello?
And that everything declines, and that we are, that the students or the candidates will be able to take the MCATs later on.
Okay, and what is, like, at one point, like, I'm not familiar with AACOMAS, I'm more familiar with the AAMC, but at what point is considered like late or like a bad, like, what's kind of like the cutoff in the best time to apply?
The cutoff for the AACOMAS application?
Yes, to submit our application and like receive an interview, or like, I know the chances are better earlier on in the cycle.
Correct.
But like, at what point it's kind of just like you should rethink applying?
So the application deadline for AACOMAS is in January.
Okay.
And that's why we say to try to get everything done by December.
Okay. So, I mean, I know for the AAMC, it's kind of like, I mean, I've been told like August. Would that kind of be the same, or you guys
The
have more leeway?
AMC?
Yeah, their application, like for the MT programs.
Oh, I'm not familiar with what their deadlines are.
Yeah, I mean, they have, I believe that they have the same deadlines roughly, but they prefer having applicants apply. Like after roughly July, August is when the application cycle gets harder, and it's harder to get the secondary applications or a possibility of getting an interview. So yeah, that's kind of my question. Like at what point is it getting difficult for the applicants to have a better chance of getting an interview?
We are right now just completing our application interviewing process. It normally ends in around April, but you know, we'll review applicants that submitted MCATs in January, when they take it in January, but it's really hard because they take 4 to 6 weeks to provide us with a score. And in that 4 to 6 weeks time period that you're waiting for your application to be verified in AACOMAS, I mean, you still have until March for your NSU application to be completed. So it's like being in the bottom of the ninth for a baseball game and waiting for a home run type situation.
Right. So in other words, just apply as soon as I get my MCAT.
As soon as you have your MCAT scores available and everything. That's why I say start doing your application once it opened in AACOMAS in May. Get everything in so that you make sure that everything is accurate. And then you have that time. If you have everything by July, then great, you can submit your application if you're happy with everything. If not, wait till, August, September, October, November, December. It all depends. Everybody is completely different. No one candidate is exactly the same. They may be similar, but not the same. So you do what is best for you according to your test scores, according to your transcripts. You want to have, if you know you're taking classes and you want your overall GPA, you know it's going to improve this semester and you want that GPA to be reflective rather than the previous one, then wait. Okay.
And my last question is, at what point should I consider doing a graduate program before applying? Like,
at what point should you consider doing which program?
Like a graduate program before going into a DO or MD program. Like,
so you would like to know if you should take a gap year or something like that?
I mean, I've already taken a gap year. I'm studying right now. So I've kind of just been stuck at, is my GPA good enough? Are my experiences good enough? Like, should I strengthen my application with a graduate program? And yeah, that's kind of where I've been.
Why don't you email me separately so that we can discuss your situation specifically and that, more confidentially.
Okay.
Confidentially.
Perfect.
All right.
Thank you so much.
You're more than welcome. And because I got that call, the sound went down again, so I'm going to step out. And Maya, I see your question, and I'll respond to you momentarily. All right?
Guys, hold on tight. She'll come right back in. We probably have room for a few more questions when she gets back. Again, right on the screen, you see the contact information for Jamila. Don't hesitate to take this down. It could be some specific questions you have. Might be a case-by-case basis. Also, meeting with your career advisor, we can talk about gap year options, applying to master's programs, and helping you really understand what your options are now or even as you get deeper into the application process.
Okay, guys, I do apologize in regards to that. I did forward my calls to my colleagues. Normally, I don't get any phone calls, but today everybody wants to call. All right.
Jamila, I think we have a few more minutes left for questions.
Okay.
In the chat box for you.
So Maya was asking a question. It does not matter that how long it takes you to complete the courses. Even if there is a gap year that is needed, some people take the time to work because financially they can't just go from undergraduate straight to graduate. So you have to do your pros and cons, what will be best for you in order so that you can be successful in the graduate program. We don't want to say that we don't look upon someone who took a gap year and said, we're not accepting them because this person went straight from undergrad to graduate school. It's not like that. All right. Sometimes you use that time to gain experience, more medical experience, to make even your application more competitive. Okay.
Maria Pia.
Yes, go ahead.
I had a question that I saw in the chat box, and I don't think it got answered, but I'm also curious about.
Okay.
They asked, when students get accepted into the DO program, do they randomly get assigned to Davie or Tampa Bay campus, or is it like you specify in your application? So
in your AACOMAS application, you are provided the opportunity to select your preferred campus. Okay. In the beginning, then all of that is available because it's still open. There are still seats available. So in the beginning of the admission cycle, once we started offering acceptances, you would most likely get your preferred campus. Once it gets down to this time, whether the Davie campus or the Tampa Bay campus gets filled, you would go to that specific campus that's available. You do have the option to submit a campus change request form. And if there's availability, then if someone withdraws or changes their mind or anything like that, you will be placed on a campus wait list and be notified that you received the campus of your choice.
Okay, thank you.
But however, that is done after your seat deposit has been paid.
Okay.
So we need to know for sure that you're coming to verify.
Thank you.
You're more than welcome. Any additional questions?
Thanks, Lexon. I actually do have a question. I'm a sophomore right now, and given all this craziness with the COVID pandemic, I was wondering what I could do to strengthen my application during this time.
It is very hard. A lot of people would like to go and volunteer and do certain things, but for your safety, we're not encouraging that unless you absolutely have to. Like some people who are working, like my daughter, she has to work, so I don't like it, but hey.
And I can jump into it. I would recommend meeting with your career advisor. We do have a lot of remote opportunities. If you have research experience, there are plenty of organizations offering remote opportunities. Also developing your transferable skills, which in a lot of different settings, even if you're working remotely, that's something you could definitely work on. We've also had students continuing to compete in our case competitions, which is immersing yourself in a lot of different public health and relevant issues. But if you do look at our recordings on our YouTube page, we actually have a whole webinar focused on the 5 pillars of pre-health, which are different areas of your application you can be developing: research, shadowing, volunteering, internships, and transferable skills. Obviously, with what's going on now, shadowing might be limited, but there's a lot of avenues for you to continue developing the skills you need or immersing yourself in the knowledge base to prepare for the program.
All right, thank you.
I would also interject using the time that you have at home to study more for your MCATs.
Yep.
Right, that's for sure gonna be my summer. Me and my MCAT.
Awesome.
Thank you.
You're welcome, anytime. All right, we have a few more minutes. Any additional questions?
Yeah, I have a question. So I'm a senior, I'm graduating this semester. And the whole plan obviously is take the MCATs early fall-ish. So if we're trying to get the applications by December, I just want to make sure that once I take the MCAT, that I'm able to send them out on time. So do you know roughly how long it takes before you get your scores back and to complete the application, I guess, process completely by the December timeline?
I do believe it's about 4 weeks, 4 to 5 weeks for your scores for the MCAT to be provided to you. And then once you complete your AACOMAS application, it's about that same time for it to be verified. It depends on how many applications they have received altogether, how many people are working. Sometimes it's quicker than others. If they have to determine it, or if they see some discrepancy, now they have to investigate. All those things you have to consider. And that's why I say start in May, filling it out, get everything situated. And they have, I do believe, a 24-hour chat session. So if you have any questions, concerns about something, they're available to assist you in answering so that you can complete your application properly.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Well,
Anyone else?
Jamila, thank you for taking time out of your day to be able to share insights about the application process, just all the things that come with it. And I know how valuable these resources could be, especially at this time of the year. So, you know, on behalf of all the students and us here at Career Development, thank you so much for coming on the Zoom chat and being able to share all these different details.
Well, thank you for having me. It could be anybody else, but it is a privilege, and to just see the inquiries and to be able to assist anywhere I can. You know, you guys are our future, and we're just grateful that you're even considering NSU Keep It Calm as your graduate program that you're interested in. So we're definitely here to assist as much as possible. All right. Again, my email address is available. And Joseph Sliba and Eric DeRise, if you have any questions. Most of them, you know, we're always there to help anyone. All right. It's been a